Hello, welcome to Highest and Best Selves. I am Nikkei Star, and tonight we will be doing a love session. Yes, I know. A lot of people have been, where's the love session? Where's the love session? And truthfully, I have been working with some clients, and to honor them, I didn't make theirs public. So I have a group that are in this love session. Although you don't know who they are, some of them just felt a little leery, so I went ahead and processed their sessions privately and individually read them their notes. But I have a love session for you guys. Are you ready to hear it? Let's get started. So tonight's session, I entered, of course, as you know, with this type of work, I don't tell you the intention because I do respect some people's intentions, but I do a gathering of all of the intentions for everyone who joins the collective session in their area of love and relationships. Love is not just about love, but it is about love. But some of them is about parental relationships, or it's sibling relationships, or relationships with their children. But love is the foundation of all of our relationships, even our coworkers. So we're going to get started and let's dive into this very deep and exciting love session. Okay, so this session enters in on a file. It's called Lower World. So I'll go to the Lower World file, and the Lower World file sends us actually to a dimension. And dimensions is also another name for your chakras. So it takes us from Lower World. Let me tell you a little bit about Lower World first, because Lower World is very, very interesting. Lower World says, what it says about Lower World is, in many traditions around the human world, there is an acknowledgement of a lower world of light and dark magic. In the shamanic tradition, or in Aboriginal dream times, the tales of myth or fantasy, and modern man's nightmares or drug-induced hallucinations, or in secret knowledge of many cultures, this lower world serves to allow contact with the grace that we have through our own actions, ignored, rejected, or disbelief in the human world. So the biggest thing that stands out for me with Lower Worlds is it is about, the Lower World is primarily it's an indication of when one is suppressing their psychic power for different varying reasons. Sometimes it's from past life experiences. They're suppressing their psychic powers. We all have gifts, psychic gifts, intuition, just different levels of it. But Lower World comes up to indicate there is a suppression coming to the people in this collective. So we go to Dimension 4, which is Dimension 4 is heart, which is ironic because we are working on the heart chakra. We're working on love. So the first place we go is Dimension 4, and I'll tell you what Dimension 4. Well, Lower World is the first place, you know what I mean. Lower World takes us to a dimension, and the dimension that it takes us to is Dimension 4 Yin, which is the front portion of the body. Yang, which is behind us, is masculine. So it's the feminine dimension on our heart chakra, and the file that comes up says love as unconditional understanding. In each is that which knows what is true, compassion and forgiveness. So I tap that in, and if you're new to this, tapping that in is thanking the body for giving the body acknowledgement for leading us to this file. So I tap in the body to show appreciation. So now we go to the wave file. So the wave file for this session says, in those times when the collective has been trying to have something happen, but they failed. So when that happens in our body, it triggers an emotion in our body. When that happens, in our lives, it triggers an emotion in our body. And it's kind of like that feeling in the wave. I always say it's like if you're a surfer at the top of the wave, when you're about to crest down, and how that your stomach drops, or when you get unfortunate news, how your heart stops or the blood drains out of your body. Or like at the top of a roller coaster, when you're at that top and you're about to roll down, that feeling is kind of like that whoosh that runs through our body. And that is actually not a bad thing. It indicates to us it's time for a session, or it's time for this to come up for healing. So after the wave file, we go to the ISR recognition, which is your I self. ISR is I self recognition. That's reconnecting with your highest self. Your high self, your highest and best self, which is kind of where I get the name, like our new shirts. So high self, ISR, is connecting you with something where the forces kind of have disconnected you. So we reconnect with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands over our heart. And we're going to open the collective, open our hearts to the light of God shining down, opening our heart chakra like a flower. You can then visualize your favorite flower. And feel this light. Open your heart to trust and fulfillment. Nice deep breath. We're going to tap it in. And we go to the seeding source. So the seeding source for this particular session is, well, we do a mutual. Let me tell you that part first, where we check to see if there's another party in the session with my clients. So it came up as a no, but then I do get permission. I don't do any sessions on anyone without receiving permission. So I get permission. I'm going to tap that in. And the seeding source for this file says a force installed by a parent during the conception or birth process. So I muscle test it to see which parent. This is for the mother. It's a no. And then we test it for the father. So the father of all of us in this collective session, all of us all the clients, their father steps forward to be in this session to help them process and eliminate the forces and the burdens that come up during the session. So you're in this together. So if you're watching and you're a client, you're probably used to this, but of course, visualize your father joining the session. So the next file that comes up is the birth file. So the birth file says, now to save time, I have begun to write more detailed notes. And as I write detailed notes, I do will not go to every file. But you will hear every file, but you may not see me flipping through my guide for the file, just so you know. So the birth file says, this disruption is creating a resistance to the collectives giving birth to a transfiguration that is being called into them. So the collective's being called into a transfiguration, a transformation of some sort, but the forces are blocking them. So it goes to my favorite file in the book. It's a big book, but this is my favorite file. And this is when the rescuers come in. So the rescuers file says, an inner labyrinth of weariness and mistrust shall become a vitalizing brightness of revelation. I'm going to read that again. The rescuer's file says the inner labyrinth. So imagine an inner being, inner inside a being. It's a labyrinth. What do you think of a labyrinth? It's a maze. So an inner labyrinth of weariness and mistrust shall become a vitalizing brightness of revelation. Sounds good. So let's go. We have a with the rescuers, we have a facilitation. So I'll walk you through what the facilitation is for this rescuers file. And so the facilitation for the rescuers file is, we ask first, is it done for the ourselves or those of the collective, or is it for the seeding source? In this case, is it for the father? When I checked and did the session, it said it's for the clients. So visualize yourself and the negative aspect of the rescuer submode, which is, so visualize yourself with an inner labyrinth of weariness and mistrust. Yeah, not a good feeling, but it's a shadow that's filling your body. Just to visualize that. A shadow filling your body that is a labyrinth of weariness and mistrust. Now, let the awakened beings here to create this transformation appear as a group of beautiful white lights in front of or above your head, over your body. You feel the awakened beings here. We tap it in. Now feel the awakened beings as they begin to gently flare away the negative shadow of the labyrinth of weariness and mistrust. So they're literally flaring away that shadow that's sitting in our vessel. And as they're flaring away this shadow, a labyrinth of weariness and mistrust, it turns to a brilliant white light. And that brilliant white light is the vitalizing brightness of revelation. So feel that bright white light where a shadow is no more. And this brilliant white light has been transformed into the vitalization of a brightness of revelation. So it's vitalizing brightness of revelation. Tap it in, feel the relief in your vessels. Receive the gratitude from the awakened beings for your bravery and allowing them to help with the transformation. Send your gratitude to them and thanking them for coming to help with today's session in this area of removing the labyrinth of weariness and mistrust and transforming it to the vitalizing brightness of revelation. So we tap it in and we tap it up. Take a big deep breath. So now I'm going to see, I'm going to load in my collective, because we need to see a little bit more, get a little more information about the collective, because this is a collective session. So the collective for this session that came up says, so the collective resonance that comes up for this session is, it says the collective is burdened. This is the collective and others who are burdened by a painful paradigm that suppresses our passion and our openness. And you want to be open-hearted and have passion when it comes to the things of love. So some of the reasons you're not able to walk in a love relationship the way you would like to, it's because you've been burdened by a painful paradigm that is suppressing your passion and your openness. But not after today. So then it goes to maze. So the maze file, which is like a labyrinth, is piggybacking off of what the rescuers helped us with. So as I go to the maze file, and the maze file says, oh, and this is the hand moodger for maze if you're interested. This is the hand moodger for maze. I'm going to tap that in. And the maze file says, the synchronizing together of the collective's heart, mind, and body is being jammed by our confusion and our fear. So the synchronizing together of our heart, our heart, bear with me, our hearts, our mind, and our body is being jammed by confusion and fear. Sometimes walking into the areas of love is frightening. So we're here to get that resolved. So it goes to wholeness. So the wholeness file says a collective's wholeness is being undermined by stress. Stress is huge. So as I always say with any session, know that anytime a file comes up, it's coming up to be released out of the body. So that's a good thing. So it takes us to the stress file. And the stress file says an active trauma coding is closing the collective to love and to fulfillment and creating an inner tension and feelings of despair. So that could be, a lot on a person when you're trying to have a love relationship or walk in love or resolve family issues or have a better relationship with your siblings or your parents or your children. So it goes to code. So if you're not familiar with our sessions, and I'm going to do some more informational videos shortly about trauma codes. So the trauma code that's coming up is code 3 yin. So that's your third chakra, and the yin is front, where yang is the rear. So it's in our throat chakra. This is where it sits. And the file that comes up says this code that's been sitting in our throat chakra creates the illusion that something or someone is out to get us and that we need to hide. So that feeling, and trust me, unfortunately, I know what that feels like. So it's this heavy burden feeling. We don't know if it could be from our father, something they went through, or it could be with us, that feeling like our love life is under attack, or someone's out to get the love in our lives, or someone's against us having happiness and love. And that is not unusual when it comes to the things of love. Past lovers have a problem with you moving on. People are envious and jealous to see other people happy and in love. So you may feel like you need to hide your love relationships, or you need to be covert with how you're moving with your love partners, because you don't want outside forces to ruin the love you've created. And that's very valid, and it is very stressful. So then it goes to the mask file. Now the mask file says the collective is becoming aware of an identity within us that is fearing the onset of an ending. Sometimes ending a isolation, ending being alone. When it comes to love, it's like, what is the ending? Or it could be ending one relationship so that you can go out and have the relationship you really want and deserve. So there's a fear around that. So it goes to the death file. And death doesn't always mean literal physical death. Death can mean that the end of something. So the end of a relationship, the end of a way of life, an end of a family tradition. You going outside of your race, or same-sex dating and making it public. Those things, ending the cycles that you were subject to. You're breaking the cycle. That's an ending. So it goes to an implant. And as you know, if you've been around or had sessions with me, implants are a part of every collective session. But the implant made itself known quickly. So we go to the implant file, and the implant is what we call a veil implant. And it's a nasty thing. It really is. Just imagine like a veil literally covering your face and shielding you, and it's like laying across you. But this one actually is about 12 inches above your crown. So it's like this gauzy veil. And the veil is the veil of death. And just like I said, don't be alarmed by death, because the veil of death is birthing a new reality. Having the love you deserve, having the love you desire, having the love you're worthy of. This is blocking that. Walking in freely, loving and having the happiness that you desire, and not being afraid from past hurts and past heartbreaks, or witnessing others having marital problems, or, you know, just like I said, being in love, you want it, but it's kind of scary. That's what we're here for. That's to remove the blocks, lift the burdens, and the family stuff that got passed to us, like, you know, with your dad joining. We're here to work it out today. So it goes from implant to, it says, I'm sorry, I didn't read that part. It says birthing a new reality, and it conceals the collective's ultimate destination. What is our ultimate destination? Victory, happiness, love, passion, finally, ecstasy, all of the things you want in your love relationship, whatever your love relationship looks like. So this implant was blocking that, but we're here to break it off and get rid of it and lift that burden. So it goes to the joy file, and you think, yay, joy. Well, our joy is blocked from the implant and the code, so we're here to get a little more information about the joy. So it says, the joy file says, distrust and fear of negative outcomes encase the truth of joy. So that fear is a scary thing, and you being told, or you know this doesn't happen, or you know if you do this, that's going to happen, or you know, all this stuff when it comes to our love life. And, you know, I hate when people say he's too good to be true. She's too good to be true. There is no such thing. You will manifest the love you want. You will manifest the love you desire. And love at first sight definitely does exist. Trust me. I know. So then from joy, it goes to the tickle file. And the tickle file, it's like a little tickle in your throat. It's kind of funny because we're in the throat chakra working right now. Just like that, you know, just a little tickle. So the tickle file says, the collective sense of partnership, what we're working on today, love. The collective sense of partnership with another, or with our body, is being distressed by a disharmony in us. So there's a disharmony going on. So it kind of makes sense. Disharmony for love, disharmony with our partners in love, desire for a lover, disharmony with parents, disharmony with your children, your siblings, or disharmony with your coworkers. So feeling that friction and that disharmony is coming up because it's messing with our sense of partnership. So you can have a business partner you're having problems with. That's another love and relationship session. So we go to the together file. And the together file, I like this file too. It generally does come up. It's perfect for it to come up during this session, because together to me is we go together. We go together like blah, blah, blah. Oh, sorry. I'm singing Greece. Don't pay attention. But I love the hand mudra for together. This is the hand mudra for together. Yes. You'll tap that in. Okay. So the together file says, the turmoil in the collective's heart is disheartening our hopes for true and loving intimacy and happiness in this world. So think about the love and happiness we desire, and have happiness for all of us in the world, and all the things that are going on right now. I don't even have to bring it up. We don't want to talk about it. So it's obvious that it's affecting us, and that's what that file came up for us to work out. So we go to embody. And in-body is about being in our bodies, pretty much. It's about sitting in our bodies, not wanting to escape out of our bodies. Sometimes when you're stressed, you kind of don't, it's what people say, grounded. It's like we don't want to be grounded. We want to be out of our bodies. Like, come back in, because you got life to live, and you're going to live from your heart, and your heart's going to be open, and you got to trust that you're worthy of it. So in-body says there is an uncomfortable inner poison which is driving the collective away from material joy, that word again, and spiritual release. We are here for a transformation, and that spiritual release, that uncomfortable inner poison, toxic feeling was pushing us away from that. Not anymore. We're here, we're bravely going to face it, and that file's coming up so it can release out. So it goes to mission, and mission is kind of like our mission of love. So we go to the mission file, and mission says, the mission file says, the collective sense of not being nourished is clouding our mission of unconditional love into hopelessness. Yeah. So there's a facilitation for the mission file, and we complete the facilitation. So the facilitation is, we do alpha breaths, and if you're not familiar, alpha breaths, when you breathe in, you look up to the ceiling, and as you exhale out, you close your eyes. And you do that and in and out until you literally feel like you want to just relax and not open your eyes. So I'll just demonstrate. You're going to breathe an alpha breath in. Tap it in. Now we're going to visualize a group of awakened beings appearing all around us. Those awakened beings are back, and they're here to help us some more. So you visualize them as bright globes of light around you, above your body, above your head. And they're sending you radiating light, and feel them sending you the loving sensation the loving sensation of unconditional love. Just feel them sending you the loving sensation. We tap that in. We take a big deep breath. And we open our fields to the love that our alliances have come to send to us. So you open your field. And if you're not sure about your field, I always say, if someone's standing close to you without touching you, you can feel them. That's your field. It's that exterior little invisible force around our bodies. So feel your field opening, and from the awakened beings, our allies, sending us unconditional love. See that flooding in. We tap it in, and you allow yourself to just feel the changing of those sensations inside your vessel in response to the loving sensation sent to us from our awakened beings. Then you tap it in, and you take another big deep breath. And feel your body's relief and gratitude. Whew. And as I say, yawning during the session does not mean you're sleepy. It's actually we're processing. So as we tap that in and we tap it up, we feel our gratitude to the awakened beings for their help. And then we receive the gratitude from them for our bravery to release the forces that was blocking us for our mission of love. And then from there we go to nourishment. Now the nourishment file says an intrusive force prevents knowing or pursuing what is most nourishing to the collective. So what is our highest and best? what is what's most nourishing to us. That's what they're talking about. So we tap that in, and we go to the intruder file. So there's an exterior force that's kind of intruding on us. So when I go to the intruder file, and there's actually facilitation for intruder. So we go to the intruder. Let's see here. And the intruder file, and what I do for the intruder, I check first to see if this is for the client or the seeding source. And the case for this file, it was for the client. So the intruder file says, occupied by an inner darkening of clarity and floating the collective into a sad delusions and limitations. That sounds like that helplessness that you're feeling when you're trying to walk in love and have the love relationships you want from your partners and from your family and loved ones. So then it goes to clarity. We're going to get clarity. Okay, so the clarity file says, the collective's inner resources and sense of self-respect feel like they're being stripped away. So tap that in, and then we go to inner fear. So the inner fear file says, the collective's confidence and hopes are being frustrated by a desired outer reality that is not being created. So what we have in our minds that we want and desire, it was blocking us from seeing it as a reality. So that interferes was frustrating our hopes and our confidence in really having what you want. You're not crazy. It does exist. And yes, you can have it. Trust me. So then it goes to outsync. Now this is where the father comes in. It says, a family belief is dislodging the collective from synchronizing the collective's inner world with their outer circumstances. So the inner things that we're desiring and feeling like we want when it comes to love, or want to have a good relationship with our family, our siblings, our kids, it's like it shouldn't be like this. That outer reality wasn't matching up until now, because we got it. We're working on it. We removed that file. We removed that block, so we're lifting that up. So it was out of sync, and it was from the father. Something the father experienced kind of passed on to us. So their inability to have that life they may have experienced that with their family kind of got passed to us, the children of the fathers who experienced that. And that's why he's here to help. It's nothing intentional, but it's just life experiences, what's swirling through your parents, like I said, during conception or during the birth process, was attached to us. And not knowingly the forces were attached, but it is affecting our love situation, those of us in this collective. So then it goes to tribal, which is, tribe, but it's back to tribal. So it says, the collective's implant that denies the collective insight, trust, and general confidence. So that inner stuff, it's being blocked. So we're circling back to the implant. So I love this. It's like everything kind of goes in a nice circle. But remember, we had a code. So when I have a code file, we have to get more information before we can process the implant. So we want to know a little bit about that code. And the crisis outer is what triggered the code in the first place. So we go to the crisis outer, and it says self-repugnation that pours into the collective's consciousness from a sense of gut level alienation and rejection. And that's kind of what this collective is going through when it came to their love life. And it was passed to us through the father. The father going through an alienation or some type of rejection. It shifted their frequency and was on them when we were born or conceived. So we're here to remove that block so you won't feel from that alienation or that abandonment or that rejection that you may have experienced triggered you to not have the love life that you desire, or the loving family relationships, or or the peace and love in your work environment. All of your relationships are kind of affected. So then it goes to territory. And it says the collective's instincts are being discolored by the collective's clinging to a mentally driven distrust. So matters of the heart. Hard to let people in and trust them. It makes sense. And it's like, this is my territory, back it up. So we're here to work it out so we can get the love. Oh, that's also why I'm wearing red today, because I want to share love. So also it goes to construct. So it says a mental construct is of gnawing grief and uncertainty of things going wrong or feeling deserted. Same thing. I tried this love thing before, or I tried to make up with my sister. I tried to work it out with my dad, and it not working out is making us feel like things are going to go wrong, going to feel deserted, so we're shutting it down. But now the files have come up and out of the body, so we can walk in love and be fearless in love and be confident in our love and know we can have what we want and what we desire we are worthy of. So then it goes to inflame. So that inner flame that's burning. It says the collective's love has become conditional. So that's where we put up conditions. Like, if it does this, I'm going to do that. If you do this, now it's conditional. And we need to have unconditional love. Love like we've never been hurt before love. And free ourselves to walk in that love of a lifetime that we are destined for. It is destiny. We were born to love. That's who we are. Life catches up and changes that, and we put the walls up and the blocks up because we've been hurt, but deep down we all just want love, So we tap that in. So then we now go to the outer crisis. The inner crisis. We had outer crisis because of the code, and we got a repeat, and the repeat took us to crisis inner. So the outer crisis that occurred earlier, which was the outer crisis, was the self-repugnation that pours into our collective consciousness from a sense of gut level alienation and rejection. So that code caused that, and then this is what happened external. And now internally, the crisis inner says a inner resource or ability belonging to us, the collective, is being inhibited by the effects of a outer crisis. So that outer crisis triggered our inner crisis, and it made us be inhibited and shut down and fear and all those things, alienation, and want to be by ourselves. We better be by ourselves than to be hurt. So then it goes to resource, and it says this life, so it's us, not the Father. Traumatic memory is enticing the collective to lose their confidence. There's that word again. So we lost our confidence when it came to, can I really have the love I deserve? Or does he really like me? Is she really honest? Is she really truthful? Or is she just blowing smoke? Or, can I trust her? Because that one hurt me. Those type of things happen to us, and the collective, and we shut down all the love because we don't want to be hurt. But really we want the love, we just don't want to be hurt. So we had to trust and know we're worthy of it and remove all those blocks. So then it goes to, we're ready to process it out. So we go to implant trance. And the trance that the implant had us kind of hazy, like, woo. I wish I could do the little vortex eyes. We were literally in a trance of feeling abandoned, feeling defeated, having uncertainty, withdrawn and tired, and negative mental pictures. Yeah, love gets a bad rap sometimes. So we tap that in, and then we go to the implant breakout. Now, the implant breakout, like I said before, the veil implant, there was a gauzy meshy material about 12 inches above our heads. So up here, and we pulsate that with light until that gauze disappears. And it removes the gauze removing the gauze will open up the channel for the light to shine through our vessel up and down. So imagine that light coming down from the heavens, permeating that gauzy material that's about 12 inches above our heads. Once the material dissolves, feel the light shining through our bodies, through our core, lighting all us up. Every cell in our body is lighting up, and we're filling our bodies with the feelings of joy in our journey home to the one self, home to our truest and highest and best self. Be the love that we were born to be. Feel every cell in your body lighting up full of that love. Your whole body is a beacon of this light. Unrestricted, uninhibited, unbridled love just flowing. Now we're going to visualize our seating source, so our fathers, all of us in the collective, all of us in the session. You see about 12 inches above their heads, that veil, gauzy material, the light of heavens shining down, pulsating that gauzy material until it's gone, and it removes that block so the light can shine, flooding the body with light. Every cell in the body is lighting up. And feel our fathers break out in joy in our journey home to the one self, to our highest and best selves. That joy, yes, now you join them in that joy. Celebrating. Feeling relief. Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh, yes. So when we have a session or in a collective or in plan, I always check to see if this is something we also need to remove a block for our children, for those of us who have children. And it was a no. And since the father came into the session, I also checked to see if it's something that needs to be removed for our siblings, if we have siblings. And it was a no. So after that, we're going to now go over to the collective. Remember, this is a collective session, and we have some in the collective outside of the session that joined us energetically. So the collective for this session says the collectives who were burdened by a painful paradigm that was suppressing our passion and our openness to love. I love this work. How divine is that? We're working on love, and love files literally come up. I did not design it that way. This is how beautiful this work is, designed to help us move these blocks and lift them out and live in our highest and best. So all of us in the collective that have experienced the breakout, the joy of returning home to our highest and best self, that light that's in us. Now imagine all these black dots all in your body, around your body, like held together in a black jelly, all around your field, all around you. That is those that energetically entered the session in the collective. Now see from your light that you receive from the breakout, the joy of the feeling of returning home to our one self. See that light bursting out and shining to all those little black dots, and those dots are now turning from dark to light. They're lighting up like fireflies. Whew. See them all lighting up all around our vessels, all in our bodies, all around our fields, and see them lighting up for our fathers that joined the session for us to help us process this out that was energetically passed to us. Let's see the light of those collectives around them lighting up those dark little pinpoints of black, turning now to white lights like fireflies, lighting up. Now see them lifting up away from our bodies, out of our bodies, away from our fields. Woo, as they go around the world, back to their respective places, lighting up the world. The earth is shining brightly with all of those, because it was millions in this collective. Millions of us all out there feeling this heavy burden feeling. They were feeling burdened by a painful paradigm that was suppressing their passion and their openness to love. Just imagine how many around the world were feeling that now. They've got it. They're running with it. They're leaping and happy and walking with open hearts and open arms, receiving and giving love. Let's give them an applause. Let's clap for them. And this is for you too, for your bravery. Yes, salute you. Yes. Mwah. Yes. Feel the glow of the earth, of all the collective in this session, lighting up in the release and the relief of all the burdens lifted from this session. As I tap it in and I tap it up, then I checked to see if we still have active hands, and I do not. So then I checked and closed this out, and then I took us to the hand mudra for ability. Tap that in, and the ability that we received from all of this work. Now, the beautiful thing is, after the session is closed out, there's still some things that, one, there's always a but. So there's something that we have a God-given born right to, that the forces that was in us was blocking. So it reconnects us with an ability that is ours. So the ability that came up says an openness to grandeur, bringing about what the collective deserves through unbridled gratitude. Hold on. Wait. Let me make sure. My handwriting got a little... I was actually crying tears of joy. This is such a beautiful session. So I can't understand my writing. So let's go there and read it. So it says, openness to grandeur. This is the collective. That ability that the collective now has. Openness to grandeur, bringing about what the collective desires through inspired vision and gratitude. Yes, amen. So tap it in, tap it up. I've already processed that out. I can't really remember where it was sitting in the body, but I removed that last little block, and we opened ourselves to the ability of openness to grandeur, ourselves in the collective, and our seeding source, our fathers. They are now open to grandeur. The best of life has to offer. That's grandeur, honey. And bringing about what one desires through inspired vision. Your visions are more inspired than ever before. And have the gratitude to know, yes, I'm worthy of it. Okay? So we're going to close out the session. So what we're going to do is put your hands over your heart. Take a big, deep breath. And we go back to our ISR. And that's open your hearts to... It was opening our hearts, the collective hearts, to trust and fulfillment. So that was what our entry was for the ISR, our I self-recognition. I'm going to check to see if we have any energy shapes. We do not. And we're going to realize those times. We're going to reconnect with the wave file, because the wave file is what brought us to the session. So we're going to realize those times when we, the collective, had been trying to have something happen and we failed. We're in gratitude for that feeling now, because that's what was the catalyst to say, you know, enough is enough. I got to do something. And that's what we're here for. That's what this energy session was all about. So we tap that in. And then we round off the session. We take a big, deep breath with your palms held upwards towards the heavens. Now put the attention about 10 inches above your face. Imagine a big, beautiful white ball of light that's radiating heat. That golden light shining there. Just see that, feel that beautiful golden light shining and the heat radiating from it. So you tap it in. And now feel a joyful ecstasy coming from that golden light. Ooh, ecstasy is good. Yes. Then tap that in. Now feel the loving transformation for you and all of us in the collective and your seeding source, your fathers. Lovely transforming us all into beautiful light. Yeah. As you feel it lovingly transforming you and all of us in the collective and your fathers into liberating light. Yes, feel that. And all of us liberating, our seeding sources liberating, every one of us liberating into light. Feel the glow from our vessels. Woo. Like I said, yawning is not sleepy. That means processing. And finally, put both your hands over your heart and feel the divine flooding us in our seeding source, our fathers and all of us in the collective with the glittering waves of freedom and renewal. Feel the beauty of our hopes coming true. Yes. And with the guiding bliss of unending love, filling our hearts. Feel it, yes. Tap it in, tap it up. Take a big deep breath. Well done. Well done, well done. Now, please bear with me. I'm not used to this YouTube stuff, so I always forget. Subscribe to my channel. Please like this page, like this video. I'm still building followers, so I do appreciate all the love, especially to some of my clients because we're new to this social media thing, but bear with us. Thank you for allowing me to help you remove those blocks, those burdens, destroy the yokes that were preventing you from having the relationship in your love life, in your family life that meets you in the heart. We release all the blocks that kept you all in the collective from loving without fear, with an open heart, trusting you will receive the beautiful, amazing love you're worthy of. And just know I'm ending this love session full of love and sending love to you. Thank you. Good night.